What's up, everybody? It is the 12 Gauge Geek here, and it is 1:32 a.m. So this is going to be a bit of a quiet and soft-spoken video here. And as you all know, it's been almost 3 weeks since the release of Hollow Knight Silksong, and it has been well received. It has been praised highly. Some developers think otherwise or choose to scoff at the price, but that's neither here nor there. And with it being 3 weeks after the game's release, I'm sure many of you have beaten the game, or many of you are like me and have since given up. So this video is for either of you people, and this is 5 games you may like if you've played Hollow Knight Silksong, and yeah, let's get into it. Number 5 is Vigil, The Longest Night, which was released in 2020 and published and developed by Glassheart Games. Now, it is unfortunately only on PC and the Nintendo Switch platform at this time. I'm not sure why or when it will be coming to PS5 or Xbox, but aside from that, it is a 2D side-scrolling dark horror Metroidvania style RPG where players take on control of Layla, a member of the Vigilant Order. The game has a variety of different biomes and enemies, along with a myriad of weapons and equipment to try out. Best of all, it has brutal combat and really hard boss battles, guys. This is one that I have played maybe, it's hard to say, I've played it on the Nintendo Switch, maybe 5-6 hours or so. I didn't get fully sucked in, but it definitely had a Souls-like type feel with a stamina bar. I believe there was a weight system to your armor and weapons, and it was a really cool game, you know. I really like the game. I think it's a smaller studio. I believe it is a possibly Taiwanese studio or Thailand based. I'm not 100% sure. I apologize if I'm getting the ethnicity of the developers and publishers wrong, but it is a small studio, and they went through a little bit of a tumultuous start. Alright, everybody. Number 4, Salt and Sanctuary. Made in 2016, publisher and developer is Ska Studios, and this released on PC, PS5, Xbox, and the Switch. Now, I do also have another video that I have done a review of Salt and Sanctuary, but I'm going to just give you guys the quick synopsis. 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania with a large emphasis into brutal Souls-like combat. You create your own character and are in the midst of traveling when unfortunate circumstances see you shipwrecked in a foreign land. Tons of platforming in hidden areas, a ton of enemies and boss variety, which all tend to pack a punch. Lots of weapons, gear, and loot to have you leaving no stone unturned and no enemy alive. And the way this game triumphs, it really does feel like a 2D Dark Souls. There also is a sequel to this game called Salt and Sacrifice as well, although it was not as well received. Alright, everybody, number 3, Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Night. This game released in 2021, and its publisher is Binary Haze Interactive, while the developer is AdGlobe and Livewire. This game released on PC, PS4 and 5, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch. Now, the synopsis of Ender Lilies is a dark fantasy 2D Metroidvania that sees you take on the role of Lily, the last surviving priestess in a land ravaged by a reign of death, a reign that turns the living into the immortal undead, tormented by grief and madness. As Lily, you will explore the world, defeat enemies, as well as menacing bosses who once defeated are now purified and able to be summoned as abilities to help Lily in her fight throughout this world, and to unravel the mystery behind this ruin, or reign. The game also has a sequel that was released in early 2025, known as Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. Now, Ender Magnolia I have not played, and Ender Lilies I have only played about 10 hours or so. The map system in that game is a bit rough to navigate, but otherwise the game is really cool. It has a great soundtrack, a great melancholy type vibe and feel, a great art style. I'd say it's definitely worth checking out if to your types of games, guys. Number 2. Now, number 2 is also a game I have made a video on. If you guys are curious about it and want to see more in depth, it is Blasphemous, the 2019 2D Metroidvania hardcore Souls-like side-scrolling blah 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 blah. This was published by Team 17 and developed by the Game Kitchen now. Blasphemous, like I said, is a brutal 2D Metroidvania with an emphasis on intense platforming and punishing boss battles. You take on the role of the penitent one as you traverse a deeply religious land known as Custodia, suffering from an affliction known as the Grievous Miracle. The game is chock full of enemies, bosses, new abilities, and hidden areas to find. It is regarded as one of the most popular Metroidvanias made in recent years, along with Hollow Knight, and there was also a sequel to Blasphemous 2, that was released in 2023, although it's not as popular. Some people still really like that game as well. There are just a few things they chose to do differently that didn't quite see it do as well as the first game. Alright, guys, and we're on to the last one here. This is our finale. Number 1, Nine Souls. Nine Souls came out in 2024 and was published and developed by Red Candle Games. It was released to the PC, the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch as well. Now, Nine Souls is a 2D Metroidvania with a huge emphasis on agile movement, parrying mechanics, and as well punishing boss battles. You take on the role of Yi, a Solarian, a race of cat-like aliens from a world outside of Earth. Why is Yi here? What is the purpose of choosing Earth? Find out why as you explore beautifully designed areas that have a Tau punk aesthetic, along with music to match. Nine Souls is the closest thing you'll ever find to a 2D Sekiro. Now, Nine Souls I haven't necessarily beaten. I may be on the third boss in the game, and it is extremely, extremely hard, guys. It's not so much the platforming that's a challenge, is that enemies hit you for extremely a lot of damage, and you pretty much have to parry, most enemies. There's a lot of counterattacks that incentivize parrying, along with bosses. Literally every single move of theirs can be parried. You can go through an entire boss battle without taking damage, just to show you how much of an emphasis is put on parrying. The game is really good though, a great game. I'd say if you're interested in Hollow Knight and really liked Hollow Knight, you like that level of difficulty, Nine Souls is a perfect game for you, I think. So yeah, that was it, guys. That was 5 games I think you might like if Hollow Knight Silksong is either beating your ass or you whooped it already and you're looking to move on to the next thing because you're built different. So, if you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.